Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May the 24th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. As I mentioned in the last episode, I am taking the day. I am off. It's very nice. Also, I always forget this. I'm pretty sure it's Memorial Day weekend. So I'm pretty sure I just made a 3-day weekend a 4-day situation. So I'm pretty happy about that. That feels really good to kind of wake up and realize that. Let's see here. So far, I haven't done much. I got some laundry done, so I feel very productive. But I also feel ready for a nap. I feel like I've earned it. But I also need to clean and do all these other things. So we'll see how my day goes. I feel like I got some events and stuff planned that I'll keep you posted maybe in the future, But yeah, things cooking. Not so much for the podcast, just for my personal life, and I'll blab about it later. So I guess you'll hear about it later. Anyway. Let's see here. Food corner. I went to McDonald's. I got the breakfast. I love a good brekkie. Actually, I really don't love a good brekkie, but if I'm going to McDonald's, that's usually what I want. I got the steak, egg, and cheese bagel with a hash brown and a large ass Coke. And then I got a sausage McMuffin and a bacon and cheese biscuit. It was pretty yummy. I will say though, classic McDonald's, energy is after I ate it, I felt like I ate rocks. That's what it felt like. Also, random side news that I had seen this week, and I'm not gonna get a chance to cover it, so I just figured I'd mention it here in the little prelude, talk about my shit episode segment, whatever. A woman in the drive-through was mad that they got her order wrong. I think she had ordered a sausage biscuit and a hash brown, and they didn't put that shit in her bag. And she rolled back around and started popping off with a gun. So we're not gonna get into that one. There's a lot of things to cover, and that one's gonna fall through the weeds. But I figured I'd at least mention it because it was kind of at least on theme. I will say, y'all, I don't own a weapon, so maybe I would just go back in a huff and hopefully I get things worked out. That's how I would handle it, or I would just take it. Shit, the other day I literally ate a bad salad. I literally ate it. Which is if you didn't like it, you can just say, hey, I don't like this, actually, this is bad. But I just feel so rude about that. It's well, why did you order something you wouldn't like? And it's well, I thought I would. I don't know. That just feels like a terrible defense when I'm out and about. But I'm truly a shy guy. What can I say? All right. Enough of me ranting about my own bullshit. Let me go ahead and do my startup, and we'll get into some news. All right. Our first story comes from the BBC. Many fear dead in massive Papua New. I can never pronounce that right. I feel like I'm pronouncing it very wrong. Papua New Guinea landslide. A massive landslide is feared to have killed many after it struck 6 remote villages in Papua New Guinea. Local officials and aid agencies said the landslide buried more than 100 homes after it struck at around 3 o'clock local time, Friday, or 1700 GMT Thursday, in the in the highlands of Inga, north of the island nation in the Southwest Pacific. It was not immediately clear how many people were trapped in the rubble, and no casualties have been officially confirmed. Inga's governor Peter Ipatas told AFP news agency that it was an unprecedented natural disaster. Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister James Marape said his government has sent disaster officials to the landslide site to start relief work, recover bodies, and reconstruction of infrastructure. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is very upsetting, concerning situation. If I do get any more details on it, I'll definitely try to, deliver an update on it. It's kind of a shame that, something happened, but you don't exactly know even how bad it is yet. I know that can be definitely an upsetting thing for sure. But yeah, I just definitely wanted to start off with that mention, talk about that a little bit. Let's move on to the next thing, though. A little bit of sports talk from the Associated Press. NCAA leagues back $2.8 billion settlement, setting the stage for current former athletes to be paid. The NCAA and the nation's 5 biggest conferences announced Thursday night that they have agreed to pay nearly $2.8 billion to settle a host of antitrust claims, a monumental decision that sets the stage for a groundbreaking revenue-sharing model that could start steering millions of dollars directly to athletes as soon as the 2025 fall semester. Just a quick definition, because I've talked about antitrust like now twice back to back. I'll just go ahead and just give a little straight up definition from the wiki. In the United States, antitrust law is a collection of mostly federal laws that regulate the conduct and organization of a business in order to promote competition and prevent unjustified monopolies. So any kind of these kind of lawsuits are put up to try to stop that and say, hey, like what you guys are doing is like looking very monopolistic, and we want to try to break that up. We want to try to stop that. Just kind of once again referencing back the Live Nation, Ticketmaster shit. In this situation, it's like, hey, we want to make sure that the students who don't have any like working rights, like they're treated as like student athletes and like cut away. At least they were at a time before we've changed that. We've talked about that. We now are going to try to sit here, like, get involved and say, hey, people, I think that it goes back up to like around 8 years or so, are going to be getting some level of compensation for being student athletes. So, I mean, I personally think this is a great thing. But let's read a little bit further. NCAA President Charlie Baker, along with the commissioners of the Atlantic Coast Conference, Big Ten, Big 12, Pac-12, and Southeastern Conference, released a joint statement saying they had agreed to settlement terms. They called the move an important step in continuing reform of college sports that will provide benefits to student athletes and provide clarity in college athletics across all divisions for years to come. Now, also, I think it's worth mentioning because like 2.8 is a big number, $2.8 billion. But like, obviously, that's going to be trickling down to a lot of athletes, throughout time. And also, they stood to like potentially lose up to like, I think 20 billion if they lost that kind of lawsuit, if it went to court and they lost, and they did not win. So it makes sense that they said, hey, let's just do a nice, cool settlement and kind of just make things square. Maybe not so much fair, but at least it's something. Let's see. I did want to kind of read, this part, and then I think we can bounce. There are a host of details still to be determined. Oh, it's actually more. It's 10 years. I'm sorry. There are a host of details still to be determined, but the agreement calls for the NCAA and the conferences to pay $2.77 billion over 10 years to more than 14,000 former and current college athletes who say now defunct rules prevented them from earning money from endorsement and sponsorship deals dating to 2016. So I think this is a good move. I think it's a good thing. Do I think it's enough? No, I don't think it's actually adequate. But I think before I heard about this, I would be thinking, of course, you're not going to get any money back from these kind of things. You know how this all works. You know how the world is. So I think it's cool that at least it's like, hey, we're going to give you guys something. Like guys and gals, obviously, all the people, the athletes, the guys and the gals. But yeah, I mean, I thought this was a cool thing to talk about. I didn't want to miss out on it, so I figured I'd go ahead and mention it, a little bit of sports ball talk. I mean, there's more details. This is actually a pretty long article, but yeah, we'll go ahead and just say we talked about it, call it covered. Now to a new thing. This is some breaking news to me. And it's fresh because I had to go to the New York Post. There are some other outlets that are, getting their hands on the story, but surprisingly, New York Post actually had the details for me. So here we are. Rapper Sean Kingston arrested on California Army base hours after SWAT raids Florida mansion. Nab's mother. Rapper Sean Kingston was arrested during his concert on a U.S. Army base in California on Thursday, while SWAT raided his Florida mansion, taking his mother into custody earlier in the day. The Broward County Sheriff's Office said Kingston was arrested without incident for a Florida warrant on fraud and theft charges in the area of Fort Irwin, an Army base in the desert about 150 miles northeast of Los Angeles. The rapper was billed to perform at the base for the United States Army's Family and Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, or MWR programs. So yeah, he was going to rally the troops. Maybe play some, what is it, Eeny Meeny? I don't know, whatever. Suicidal. Anyway, whatever. Video posted to social media allegedly shows law enforcement officers at Fort Irwin's Army Field as Sean Kingston performs Eeny Meeny on stage. Let's see. Apparently that was a joint that he and Justin Bieber did. And I'm acting like I'm disconnected, like I didn't listen to Sean Kingston, but obviously I did. Earlier Thursday, Kingston's 61-year-old mom, Janice Turner, was arrested when authorities swarmed the rapper's luxurious Southwest Ranches property in Florida. She's facing charges similar to her son's. Kingston was renting the mansion. The arrests were made in connection to allegations that Kingston swindled a tech company out of thousands of dollars in a deal over a television and speaker system. In February, Verver Entertainment, LLC, filed a lawsuit against Kingston, alleging breach of contract and fraud after the rapper reached out to the company on Instagram to purchase a 232-inch colossal TV and a sound system. The equipment would have cost at least $111,000, but Kingston supposedly promised to make promotional videos about the products with his friend Justin Bieber. The company alleged in documents viewed by the Post. Kingston, who is 34, Bieber, who is 30, famously collaborated on Eeny Meeny, which appeared on Bieber's 2010 debut. But he wasn't really hanging with Bieber. He just wanted the TV. He goes as far as to make like the first down payment that they agreed to. He was supposed to like make promotions, with Justin Bieber, just in general, and inevitably these promotions were going to value out to a certain amount, and I think he was supposed to, at the end of it all, pay $77,827.16, essentially knocking off $33,000 from the original price. But he just took the TV, made a down payment, and then like fucked off. And they're like, nah, dog, like that's not okay. We're mad at you for that. We're coming for that. So yeah, let's see. But Kingston failed to meet his end of the agreement after the system was installed, including making a second payment and the promo video. Let's see. So yeah, so now shit, I guess, is hitting the fan. It seems like Sean Kingston is kind of playing it off. He's saying he's good, and the lawyers are handling things as we speak. So I mean, I'll keep you posted if I hear any more. But yeah, I don't know. Bad turn. Who knows? Who can say? I guess, though, my 2 cents, though, is this seems like a really crazy, like, hustle move from Kingston, to just want a big-ass fucking TV, get the TV, and then be like, yeah, all right, that's fine. I've done it here. I'm good. I don't know. Maybe that's, like, celebrity shit. Maybe that's, like, big head energy. I don't know. But, like, that just seems so unnecessary. I don't think I would even go out of my way to even make that pitch. Like, oh yeah, I'll work my ass off for the super duper huge TV. Like, I don't know. I'd be okay with that. I don't think I want that. You can keep it. Nice TV though. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely didn't seem worth it to me, I guess is really what I'm getting at. But hey, everyone's got different motivations. Let's move on to a different thing. Another topic. Actually, I guess it's more serious. Oh, it's serious in a national level, right? I realize this has a shitty title. Oh no, it doesn't. Here we go. From MSNBC. Alito authors 6-3 ruling in favor of South Carolina Republicans in racial gerrymandering case. The Supreme Court sided with South Carolina Republicans in the Roberts Court case. Oh, I cannot talk. in the Roberts Court's latest legal assault on voting that makes it even harder to prove racial gerrymandering. Justice Samuel L. Alito, who is making news for other reasons lately. Sir, they found a second flag on your other estate. Literally, like, this one, it was apparently a pine cone, and it's like some corny ass, old ass, like, George Washington era ass, I don't know, rebellion shit. And it's like, it's once again related to January 6th shit. He's just like, you know, signaling that he's totally with the shits. He loves the Boogaloo Boys and all that. But yet, you know, he's not going to recuse himself because, of course, he's not biased. How could he be biased? He's a judge of the highest order. He would never. And besides, the first one, his wife did that. You know, that was like personal neighbor shit, okay? So whatever. Don't worry about the waves that Alito is making. Let's just worry about this fucked up, supercharged majority bullshit that we have to swallow as a country. Let's get back to it. Let's see. With the Democratic appointees dissenting, no surprise, Alito's opinion approves a map deemed unconstitutional by a lower court panel, and more broadly, his rationale provides cover for minority voter suppression, which I agree with. Essentially, the argument is saying you haven't proved that what South Carolina did was racially motivated. All you can prove is what they said that they did, which was we did this because we wanted to make this favorable for Republicans. So we took and gerrymandered, you know, politically, which you are allowed to do. So essentially that's what the majority decided. I think that's fucking bullshit. I think it's setting a really bunk narrative. And essentially now, anytime these things get floated back up to the Supreme Court, if it's over a racial gerrymandering thing, they're just going to say, okay, actually, no, this is, like, we're going to side with, you know, conservatives on this, more or less. Because, I mean, shit, I don't know. Democrats are just terrible at gerrymandering. I feel like the one time I even saw them try to do it, I think it was like in a New York thing semi-recently, maybe 2 years ago, and literally they're like, it got shot down in the courts. And they're like, no, you can't do this. This is clearly gerrymandering. Don't do it. And it's like, I remember being so mad. That was definitely a time where I was just like, dude, why can't Democrats just get it together? Like, why all of a sudden we have judges that want to do the right thing now? I don't know. I know that's like really just bad, but I just get so upset sometimes at how the legal system works, and just how politicians and, you know, these judges and higher powers move through it. It just bugs me and makes me mad. But yeah, I mean, I think this is something that's very upsetting because this was very clearly evident, racial gerrymandering, and it's just going to get ignored and accepted and as like, okay, this is fine. And it's just going to show that it's going to continue happening. I shouldn't be surprised. It's just, you know, definitely a bummer. Let's see here. I mean, there's more words if you want to read them, but feel free to do that on your own. I'll call it covered. I'll call it licked. Anyway, I have one more thing I wanted to cover. Give flowers to a man who has passed away. But yeah, let me go ahead and take my last break, and then we'll go ahead and get into it. Ooh. Oh boy. And we're oh man. Oh man. Let me get the sweat rag. Okay. We're back. From the Associated Press. Documentary filmmaker Morgan Spurlock, who skewered fast food industry, dies at 53. Documentary filmmaker Morgan Spurlock, an Oscar nominee whose most famous works skewered American food industry, who notably ate only at McDonald's for a month to illustrate the dangers of a fast food diet, has died. He was 53. Spurlock died Thursday in New York from complications of cancer, according to a statement issued Friday by his family. Super sad to like die at like 53. Like, it's very like sad, unfortunate. Um, I think I've said it before, and I know this is like one of my hot takes that like 60s is like kind of old, like not even kind of old to me. Like I'm like, yeah, you should be ready to die. Like, it's just here. You're at the door. Somebody's knocking. You should answer. No. Um, but in contrast, when you're in your 50s, to me, I'm like, yeah, you're old, but you have life. You're still full of life. You're a seasoned, wizened person. Like I'm not saying, oh, it's your prime, but like you should be enjoying it and having a good time and not really worried quite yet, right? But I mean, hey, life moves, and you don't really get to call your own shots on this shit. So it's a shame. It's sad. Obviously, condolences. Just talking about what I really know here. About Morgan Spurlock, that would definitely be Super Size Me. I remember watching that in school and like being low-key traumatized because you just realize from start to finish, this is a documentary about I don't want to say about you specifically, but it was to me. Like, it was definitely to me, a fat kid who was raised on fast food. And there's so many millennials and Zoomers, alphas out there that are like that have been raised in that kind of household, in that kind of family. And his project really kind of laid out like the drastic, terrible effects of this kind of like food style, this kind of culture that we've all kind of accepted. Like, we've made like Ronald McDonald our god. Like, why? The food's really bad. Like, him literally saying he was eating so much of this shit to the point that he was losing his sex drive. And I'm like, my brother, I barely even know what a sex drive is, and that's scary to me. What are you talking about? Seeing him vomit in the street, like, oh my god, he was like kind of happy to eat the little salad and shit. I think they had the salad right at that point, but he definitely laid out a lot of stuff, a lot of negative things in the industry. I will say, definitely though, I was bummed. My fucking fat ass was bummed because this shit started the ripple effect that got the super size fries taken off. So you couldn't supersize your meal anymore. And I remember being very upset about that. I'm pretty bummed, but probably for the best, what have you. He's definitely gone on to, excuse me. He's definitely gone on to do other works, other angles on the fast food industry. Apparently he's done like a One Direction thing. Also, I guess worth mentioning, he has been involved negatively in the Me Too movement, but at least he's been as honest as he can be about it, I guess, at least according to his statements in this article or whatever. But yeah, I mean, he's a man who lived an interesting life. I think that's pretty safe to say. I think if anyone's a documentary head, you've probably heard of someone like Morgan Spurlock, right? I feel like he's probably made the name in your Rolodex there, right? You've probably seen at least something he's done. Heard his voice, seen him with the, like, what is it, the Fu Man mustache handlebar thing he had going on. He was kind of cool. He seemed all right. I don't know. Anyway, that's really all I have for today. We'll close it down there. Let's see. Okay, all right, not too bad time. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsie today. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Free ways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube. Trying to get those numbers up. Feel free to follow on Spotify, whatever listening platform you're on. Just keeps you up with my Joneses. Let's see. Comments are cool. Likes are cool. All that stuff. Please, please, please. But listening is just super great, and I just love to have you around. It really means it means the world to me. So yeah. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.